Hello guys and welcome to this FTMO mini-series. Now, if you're just joining us, we started with a £100 account, we traded it up to £142 and we used that money to buy a £10,000 FTMO account with the intention of actually passing that challenge. Now, the purpose of this little mini-series was to show you how you can start with a small pot of money and actually trade your way up to potentially generating an income for yourself from trading. It has long since been a myth in the trading industry that you can start with £250 or £300 and generate a consistent income for yourself. And whilst we disagree with that and have busted that myth in a sense, what we are showing you is that you can use a small amount of money, leverage it, and actually use that to perhaps buy your way into having a funded account. So welcome to episode 1 of this FTMO mini-series that we're doing. Now, since the last check-in that I done, which was last week, which was the finale of the £100 account challenge, I have taken 3 trades. Now, the first trade was a USD CAD short, I believe, which I ended up closing early for -1%. The second trade was a long on GBP USD, which I ended up closing out for -0.4%. So in total, up until now, I am down 1.4 or 1.5% on the account. I'll overlay that on screen just now. Now, since then, I have put multiple orders in the markets, both buy and sell limits. Now, because of the way I trade, I'll very often put orders in the markets that don't ever get executed. So instead of checking in with you every time I put an order in, I'm gonna wait until those orders actually get filled, and then that's when I'll show you the trades that I'm in and the analysis on those trades as well. Now, I do currently have a trade running on USD JPY. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you some analysis on this trade, why I'm in it, and then I'll update you throughout the day and show you how that trade gets on. So here we're looking at a chart of the dollar yen on the daily time frame. Now, something really interesting about this chart, something that's interesting me, is the fact that we've broken out of prior structure here. So simply on this daily time frame, I'm going to mark out that structure low, and here we have that really nice wide ranging candle down through that level, and we see the price comes up to retest the low. Now, unfortunately, I missed the initial retest of this low, and so I kind of had the idea in my head that potentially I wasn't going to get a trade on this. Now, not only did we come up and retest that low almost to the pip, but we also have, if we're just drawing a fib there, we have 50% fib confluence in there as well, giving us confluence for this trade, right? Again, I actually missed the initial entry from here. Now, from this daily time frame, we can start to look at some targets where we would have been targeting. And to me, there's 2 areas that really stand out. One is here, down at this swing low. And the second is at the low of this inside day. Now, why is that a target for me? We know from our knowledge of price action that stops are likely to wait beyond candles like engulfing candles, shooting stars, hammers, inside days, etc. And so we can often see a relatively significant reaction from these areas, and so I'm going to mark that out. Even if I do aim for this low down here, this level is one that I'm going to want to watch, right? Because price could reject from there and end up creeping back up the page. Dropping down onto this hourly time frame, I like to apply a 50 period moving average and see how price is reacting to that. I also have a trend line in here from this low, just along the bottom like that. Bit of a counter trend line in there as well. Now, in order to get an entry on this trade, given that I've missed the initial entry, I need to look for a break in structure to the downside. I just put on a blue level like so. So I'd like to see price basically break and retest this low in here. And then I'd like to short it down. Now, entering here would mean that price has broken through the EMA and broken through the trend line and is now retesting it from the underside, providing me a really nice entry. As we track forward into this morning, we see price initially finds rejection at this level, but is then followed through by a candle which does clear both the trend line and that level of structure. As price trades back, we see again a bullish engulfing and actually a hammer as well up into that level. Price violates the level and then we see a bearish engulfing back down through the level from the 50 period moving average and a retest of that counter trend line, simply showing us that the buyers haven't got acceptance beyond that level and the market is ready to turn. So I'm simply taking an entry from here with a stop beyond the high, targeting here for a 1 to 1.85 risk reward. So in the previous clip, you will have seen I actually hit take profit on that USD JPY trade. Now, I did find a scale-in opportunity on a 30-minute chart, which I'll overlay on screen just now. As the trade progressed, I saw that scale-in opportunity on the lower time frame, and that allowed me to get a second entry on this, making the overall target hit for around 6.5%, bringing the overall count up to just under 5% in profit, pretty much in our first week trading on this FTMO challenge. So I'm super pleased about that. Now, I'm a big believer in scaling into trades and adding to winning trades as well. And I think it really takes a lot of the pressure off of yourself, especially if you have a target to meet. If you can, wait for those really high quality setups, high probability setups, and simply scale into them when you do get the opportunity. So I'm going to be trading this FTMO account again over the next 3 weeks, and I'm going to be applying the exact same system, the exact same techniques, risk management, etc. that I do apply to my normal trading account. A few people asked in the comments last week if I was still going to be trading the FTMO challenge like I traded the £100 account challenge, which was between 4 and 5% risk, and the answer is simply no. With FTMO, you do have very tight risk limits on the day. I think it's 5% per day and 10% overall. So I have to be very mindful about that when I'm taking positions so I don't actually exceed that risk limit. Remember, on these FTMO challenges, that risk limit isn't on closed trades, but also open trades as well. Meaning if you have a trade that runs, or a couple of trades that run negative 5%, that account is now invalid. So just to show you here on MetaTrader 5, you can actually see those positions, the USD CAD loss, the loss on GBP USD, and then the subsequent 2 wins on the scaled in trade that I got today on USD JPY. And then if I hit this settings here, you can see that is indeed the FTMO account that I have been trading. Now, so at this point in the video, I had planned on walking you through my FTMO metrics. However, when I went to film it last night, for some reason they hadn't actually updated. So for anyone who is unaware, when you actually purchase a challenge through FTMO, you have this little client portal where you can see the metrics for the challenge that you've taken, right? Now I'm going to refresh this page so that you can see it. Yeah. Now what we see here is your equity curve, obviously the challenge that you selected. This one was 10,000, the provider, account type, the platform that you've chosen as well, when it starts and when it ends. So this is really handy to keep track of your results and stuff like that as well. And then you'll see here the actual real-time results that I have achieved on the account so far. So your trading objectives are to trade for a minimum of 10 days. I've currently only traded for 2. You have a max loss of 5% for the day and a max loss of 10% overall, so it passed both of those. And you can see the profit target is £1,000, being 10% return on the account, and I'm about 4.6% of the way there. And then if you come down here, you'll see some broken down stats, win rate, average RR, number of trades, etc. Now, a couple of these stats are a little bit skewed. Because I closed a few trades early in loss, that takes them to be losing trades, saying that I've only actually won 25% of my trades. And then the expectancy as well is only £54. Again, that is because I've closed a handful of trades in a small amount of loss, so that just deteriorates your expectancy a little bit as well. But yeah, so there we go. That's the little FTMO portal where you can actually view your metrics on your challenge account. Okay guys, so that's pretty much it for episode 1 of this FTMO mini series that we're doing. If you do want to follow this journey and you are enjoying it so far, please drop it a like and consider subscribing if you haven't already, and I'll catch you in the next one.